What are the three biggest obstacles in rounding out an account? I'm going to first start with the disclosure that shouldn't come as any surprise to many of you, which is that the best way to do an account round is on a proactive review call. This opportunity to proactively contact people and have a discussion with them when they don't have a burning service issue that they're trying to solve, which is what they have when they're calling into the agency, is a much better opportunity on that outbound call to have a discussion with them on increased coverage and additional policies and better round out that account. Having said that, that's not really an obstacle, so we're going to go into the three top obstacles that we need to overcome. Number one is time, and this one's somewhat easy. Nobody has time to deal with their insurance. In fact, they just don't want to invest the time in dealing with their insurance. So we only have so much time in a day. I don't really want to focus on insurance as part of that time. The other component to this, though, is that we don't make them invest the time. So we need to get them to understand that there is going to be a little bit of a time commitment here. Now, that might turn some people off initially, but the more people you do that with and the more people that actually engage with you, they actually will become invested into the process and have a vested interest in the outcome. So they're more likely to purchase that additional policy because they helped create it and they actually invested time. They don't want to see that time go to waste. So that's overcoming time. Number two is desire. So most people don't really, again, have a desire to have a conversation about their insurance. Really what this comes down to is they don't see the value. So to increase that desire, we number one have to get them to understand why it's in their best interest to have all their policies with one agency. And then number two, get them to understand the value in that being our agency. So increase that desire by increasing our value. Third obstacle is price. Now, an account rounding, this one isn't usually as much of an issue as it is on a new sale because number one, we're usually saving them money. And number two, we've already got some rapport and relationship. So there's two times where price will come an issue. Number one is before we've even created the opportunity. So when we're talking about an additional policy like an umbrella or a renter's policy, maybe they don't see the value of a workers' comp policy or a commercial umbrella. So there can be a hesitation there to get that additional coverage. So that's before the quote. When we are talking about the quotes, we can discuss how there could be savings here. What I don't want you to do is oversell that. So don't say the only reason you should be looking at this policy is because it will save you money. Because number one, it may not, so we don't want to oversell that and lose it. And number two, we're still trying to not get them to focus completely on price as their sole criteria for making their insurance purposes. So we want to make sure we're mitigating that message a little bit. So that's before we have the opportunity. Once we have the opportunity and we're presenting the quote, again, for the most part, when we're rounding out an account, we're probably saving the money. Unless it's an additional policy, especially if we're pulling it from somebody else, we're probably saving the money. So not often do we have to deal with the pricing objection here. But for those cases that you do, or when you're bringing in that additional, that new policy to them, we really want to focus on the value. So the value of the agency, like we did with Desire, and this is where we can really lean on that relationship. So they've trusted us enough to say, yes, I'm interested, I need this. Lean on that relationship, lean on the trust they've put in you, lean on the expertise you've shown to really get them to push and understand that the price and the premium is not the number one factor here. So there you go, top three obstacles to overcome: time, desire, and price.